quite an eventful week, a week of many, many things happening in the country. Internationally, President Ruto traveling, flying president everywhere and back in and out of the country. This is the biggest show, the biggest conversation. And of course, today we are going to dig deeper into issues, deeper into things you've never gone into, just to discuss what's happening in this country and beyond. I'm your host, CEO Charles Otieno, alongside a panel of luminaries. Some of them have gone back. Of course, the ever-present Maria, an author, and of course, a political analyst, and many other people here, and Conchita,
Hi.
the beautiful one.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself, guys.
So I am Conchita Lillian. I work for marketing and PR. So yeah.
I am Maria Nyambane. I am an author. Marriage is a Scam and Love the Original You. I'm also an editor of The Young Magazine, the only kids magazine in Kenya.
Love is a what? Marriage is a
Scam.
Is a scam?
Yes, she's
And she's
And
married.
yes, she's married.
Yeah.
Why are you spoiling it for us?
I'm not. You should read the book.
Benji Ndolo, political strategist, senior political analyst, activist. Glad to be on the show. Thanks for having me, CEO.
Karibu sana.
Asante, my brother.
You see, Maria always says marriage is a scam, but she's happily,
Married. Yes.
happily, she writes about is a scam. And Conchita here, who is looking for her second marriage.
Yeah, I'm just like hopeful. Maybe there's like a second husband somewhere.
There is actually.
Yeah, but if it's a scam, I don't want that. I'm gonna keep this.
You want to keep that?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's dig into this thing. KRA lost the first quarter. They said that they could not meet their target of 79 billion. The taxman in the first quarter, after raising taxes to the employees, there's a lot of things which if you cannot even afford to buy food because taxes are so up. Yet the taxman comes, Benji, to tell us, hatujapata pesa. 79 billion is quite a big margin miss.
CEO, let me go strong on this particular topic because especially the ladies, they'll
Yeah.
be very strong on other social topics.
Yes.
So let me capitalize on this one and just
Yes.
take my mark.
Yes.
For the benefit of the guys who watch us, and this is a really good show, by the way,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah.
Of that 79 billion, I can confirm 13 billion
Yes.
loss was from missed revenue targets on petroleum.
Yes.
Fuel is so high now, even for PSVs, boda, matatu buses. At 217 a litre, people are fueling and traveling less.
Yes.
Because it's a lot.
It's a
And
mark.
so if they're fueling less, so the sales are less, the revenue is less, therefore they miss the target on petroleum alone by 13 billion shillings. Now,
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to know a mzee called Francis Mudhara.
Yes.
I met him this morning on my way here.
Yeah,
he was
he was
coming
here.
from here
Yes, he
on a
was here.
different...
Yeah.
And you know, we just had a very... I mean, can you imagine in 4 or 5 minutes?
Yes.
He was former head of public service.
Yes, he was.
So I say, Ambassador, what's happening? And we know each other. He asked me, where are you? What are you doing to help the situation? And I say, what do you feel is going wrong? And you know, he tells me, without criticizing the government directly, that when Kibaki came in, for the first 5 years, he did not add even 5 cents. 2 things Kibaki did. He did not add even 5 shillings on taxes, number 1. Number 2, former treasury boss, Mwiraria, CS, at that time, because the government is able to look, they looked and saw that the banks were holding so much in reserves.
Yes.
The law requires that they hold 10%, for
Yes,
instance.
it's
in
10%,
deposits.
yes, yeah.
But they're holding over 50%. So the president sat with the central bank governor and others and said, why are you holding so much money? Hii pesa weka kwa wananchi,
Watumie.
wafanye biashara.
Actually-
That's economics,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So the interest rates instantly came down. Money was available. Money was being hawked on the streets. That helps you open your business. That helps you boost your business. I mean, that I have to explain this over and over is actually so annoying. Because these are just basics. We talked about the Laffer curve last time. I'll go
Yes.
into a little more detail today. The Laffer curve, by definition, a theory founded by Arthur Laffer
Laffer,
in,
yes.
in 1974.
Yes, the American.
Basically, it's two factors, and Americans are always so good on economy and business. That's why they're the wealthiest country in the world.
Yeah.
He basically looked at two forces that affect pricing and economy when you are looking at tax collection. Number one is the arithmetic effect. That if you just add taxes, by numbers, yes, you'll add numbers. But the second is the economic effect. That you add taxes, and in fact what he demonstrated is that by reducing taxes, you can actually collect more taxes.
More, of course, yes.
Yeah.
So what is Ndi trying to tell us?
You know, I don't understand.
We're just in a complete disaster. And everybody's talking about it, by the way. We just happen to be here on a platform.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, go to talk to any Mama Boga today. Go talk to any Ma3, any Boda Boda, any person who anachoma mahindi, any person anakatakata mboga.
Yeah.
Take time and talk to them on the street.
I have.
Even
actually.
the ones who are hustlers, who voted for hustler, they are literally in shock.
Yes.
They're like, what is, anatumaliza. It's very brave.
That's very true.
You see, what you've touched on is the National Bank reserves, which is put in the central bank. Kibaki reduced it to 5% from 10. That means that a lot of money
out, yeah.
flew out of the bank. The law requires 10. He reduced it. They changed the law to 5. Because you don't need to keep a lot of money in the banks.
Yes.
You need money for people to
It
do
was
business.
just
But
so
they say they don't
basically
have money though. Like the current government is saying there's no money.
Money
So,
That's what
so
they're
they've
doing is-
overborrowed,
they've
they've
overborrowed.
overborrowed,
I've
then
just
you're
seen-
borrowing and squandering.
I've also seen just recently we've been given some money for like climate change. Is it not possible for them to take that money and, you know, unajua kama, like, let's talk like a woman, eh? I'll get this money, then I'll substitute it for what an intake hapa, hivi nipatie, alafu
Kitunguu
niki
kidogo
hapa,
hapa, yeah.
then inichukue niki hapa,
Exactly.
even all
We're
that.
not even having the right conversations.
Actually, the government
Digital,
never
right?
does that. The government always says
just
that
spend
we are
it.
saving money here, but we don't see where it goes.
Why,
don't
what
see
are
where
they
it goes.
saving?
They,
Because
they want us to be excited with, oh, wow, they're doing a good thing. Then once you get excited, you don't see where the money goes to.
I look
And
at
in
all this
fact, Maria-
funding coming in, it doesn't make sense to
It
me
doesn't.
because we have funds here and there, so is it just staying in the bank?
Then
If
just
also-
imagine, President is just changing cars, and traveling, flying. So you have the discussions around it.
The flying president.
What do foolish Kenyans say? Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
Or msikwe na wivu, or he should have many cars. He's a president. So yesterday he just casually picked 500 million out of his travel. So that tells you a lot. That tells you there's a lot
There's
of waste.
money. There's
There-
money.
There's
money
money,
is
of
being
course, it's
collected.
wasted.
Like again, I looked like at my pay slip and I was like, yo, where is this money
Unakata
going?
kila kitu, yeah.
I wish they could just be like, you know what? Okay, this is the money that we took from you guys. This is what the money is doing. We're going to do A, B, C, D.
Exactly.
E, imeenda hapa. This one from this collection. This and this. This and that happened. But you see, right now, when the taxes go up, if you look at the policies, sisi ni wajanja. First of all, we're going to start taking tax evasion.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to take this so much amount of money
And
from
tax
me,
avoidance.
I'm going to avoid that, you know. Then if we're to look at the informal sector, how are the taxes being collected from that? Because this is a developing country as much as to Kona Expressway, but we're still developing. That means the informal sector literally runs the economy, you know. So kuna watu wadogo wanaweza sema like, oh, atukuchukua tax kutoka kwao. So it's more of like, okay, how do you make sure hawajafinywa? Then again, as much as they may say there's like slow down in terms of like the economy, I don't know. I just feel like I can't even wear my wig because it's taxed at this point.
I mean, Conchita, I like how you're explaining all these complex
In a very
concepts
easy-
in a very Wananchi-friendly way.
Yes.
It breaks my heart that 60 years after independence,
Yeah.
manzi watu bado wanalala njaa. Aje sasa.
And now it's worse.
Like, why am I even the president of a country? Like, watu tu ni vile tu I am seeing even on social media or elsewhere.
Yeah.
Mtu anakwambia aki sijakula, sina job. Why am I even the president of such a country or such a company?
Actually, it's getting worse right now because you see, with the fact that initially they would afford life a little bit.
Yeah.
Right now, everything is so expensive.
Yes.
Like nothing is cheap.
An orange is 40-50 shillings.
Okay.
Hata hauna job.
Ile nilikuwa nauziwa kitungu ya 5 bob. Saizi ni 15 bob. And I'm looking at it, I'm like,
Yeah.
hi, yo.
And you know, CEO, are we not supposed to talk about this? Because
No, we are,
also-
we are supposed to talk about
No, but you see people also start saying, oh, Benji unaongea hivyo because unachukia president or haukupewa job.
Like when you
know,
personal.
it's- No, but it's not. I mean,
No, we
who's
just
supposed to
met,
talk about it?
we just met our friend out there,
Yes.
and
Yes, exactly. Former CEO.
Yes.
NHIF.
Yeah. And he's saying things
It's
are
a
not
slew of
good.
issues. Things are not working.
Things are not good.
Things are
And,
not working.
and you know the fact that they did not reach the tax target, I hope they're not going to increase targets because
Oh,
they are
girl.
going to not now reach there now.
Right now,
There's a
even,
problem.
even
Oh,
right,
the fuel
it's
is
going to
coming
be-
up. Actually, my boda guy told me today is 100, tomorrow it will be 115. Like he's already so sure he's going to increase the price, and now I need to work out. So getting fit at the same time. So it's fine. We look at the positive side of things right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, we'll be exercising, Futsubishi, Lexus.
But I really thought
okay.
that Ruto was 10 times sharper than this. Forgive me for thinking.
No, to be quite
No,
honest,
I
thought
told you.
If there's
Yeah.
someone who could really, I mean, he's not the son of a president.
yes,
He's just a son of nobody who has come up from Kamagut, you know.
from experience.
And
right?
now he has to struggle to be up there to feel like the presidency part of it. I
that's
need to
not
have
the way to
enough
do it.
wealth.
I
That's
had
not
a
the way to do
conversation with one of my friends from abroad. He's like, "Oh my God, your president is doing very well." I was just like, I was like, why you guys like that? I'm like, listen, oh jama alikuja katuambia atapunguza gas, then kidogo kidogo, oh ni mtungi. I'm like, it's like telling us, "Nyi Kenya mjui jokes." You understand?
Just kidding.
But you see, even Kenyans, we must get serious. Eh?
Yeah.
When you are being told that tapunguza gas and then a guy, the president comes and says, I meant the cylinder.
Yes.
And then the empty. Now we'll be a country of 100 million beggars and 10 billionaires very soon, because the people you are taxing, the KRA cannot meet the target because you're taxing the same people. You're adding a lot of taxes. They are taxed from their salaries. They are taxed when they try to buy anything. They can't afford the fuel tax. The person you are taxing is the person who buys fuel.
Yeah.
Now, there's no money which you put aside for the fuel. So you're taxing him in fuel, you're taxing in car manufacturing and spare parts, you're taxing everything. So the guy goes home with less than 10%.
Exactly.
10% out of his gross income. 10% is actually his actual net.
No, people are.
Can we start talking
telling
about
you.
how many businesses are closing because of this?
Let me tell you.
A lot of
Yes.
businesses are closing because there's
Left
no
and right.
so many of them. There's a school that I loved so much growing up, and I had they closed, and the guy was
A
like, "No, I
school?
can't afford.
East End, yes.
It's East End.
Yeah.
I can't afford."
You know, when someone who's
And it was a big school, by the way.
He's run a school for 30 years
Exactly.
and he just shuts it
Those
down.
are all indicators.
Yes.
And CEO, I don't want to be too technical because I can see this is a good panel that, again, it's not too technical, you know.
Yeah.
What, you know, viewers enjoy watching in a way where it's not, there's no PLO here, there's no razzmatazz of the nominal curve in the economy. So I don't want to get, I don't want to get too technical. But do you know the truth of the matter is, even in the Kibaki days,
Yes.
Yeah.
and here I was fortunate having come in from another country and being able to do
Hey,
comparative
Kimbos.
studies, for many years.
Okay.
Even then, we already had double and triple taxation. So that's to say that under no circumstance should we entertain the discussion, the predatory discussion, because that's what it is, of adding taxes. Kenyans pay taxes at Naivas,
Yeah.
sales tax, VAT, you know, duty, import duty,
Yeah.
tariffs. She was talking about hair.
Can't slay.
Yeah.
So her paycheck, which is taxed 35% income tax, the money they give her, she still goes and pays fuel tax, VAT.
Yes. It pays a lot of taxes.
I mean, what are you on airtime even?
So
I mean,
how
what
come they haven't achieved in the billions? How-
exactly? So
what is
so
it?
so that's why I'm calling it predatory, because it's so shallow and so short term. The mentality that we have to get money from Kenyans. Where are Kenyans getting money? In fact, let me give you a small personal testimony just from day before yesterday. A friend of mine who's a CEO, billionaire in manufacturer, the Asian community. So he feels his V8 diesel 11,000 used to. Now it's 25,000 shillings. And even though he's a wealthy man, he's asking me, Benji, 25,000.
Yeah.
And especially for the Muslims, they're very conscious, even when you have money, that you live in a poor country. Therefore, hata kama uko na pesa, it is better to use your money in a smart way and to help someone who doesn't
It's
have
poor. Yeah.
a job. doesn't have money, someone that has a family. So he's telling me, just imagine, I'm shelling 25,000 shillings to fuel. I mean, it's extremely painful.
It's
Now,
crazy.
let's go to
Where am I
the
getting it?
let's go to the fact that you said that you were told gas and then ikashuka tumtungi. Now, El Nino funds, El Nino billions, where did they go to? Because now it has scaled down to short trains. Let's also not forget that Nairobi governor told us that you're going to procure motor boats for the sake of the problem that was going to be brought by the El Nino. Yeah, we were really prepared. So, please, that's where the tax would have gone to consider.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think?
Let me tell you, first of all, I don't know. This governor confuses me. You know, the metro, whatever it's called, the Mets, yes. Okay, first of all, I don't, who runs it? Like, how do you say this is happening? Oh, prep. Oh, no, it's not happening. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's happening. So it's, first of all, they're going to blame the climate change. They're going to be like, oh, okay, climate change is here. You know, we cannot be able to tell ABCD. But you have the equipment, you have the infrastructure. You're supposed to be able to let us know, like, okay, so this is happening, yada, yada, yada. Then look at it. Just hypothetically speaking, if it happened, right? What are the measures there? Because we know these are heavy rains. Are we capable of harvesting that to be able to help certain places that we know? Year in, year out,
Maybe
there's
just
always going to be, just storage. Like, is that there? Like, show
What
us.
is the resource?
What
Just
is,
keep the
yeah.
road.
Actually,
You cannot tell us that you're going to acquire boats to move around. What? South Sea is always flooding, even with the short rains. So then you just buy those boats for the period of time.
yeah, now,
Like, I don't,
actually, the main agenda here is, are those funds going to be taken somewhere else? Because according to what I'm seeing, we are already short on collecting taxes. So I'm hoping these funds
This
now,
was
like,
it's
it's just like
Maria,
the
can
way,
you just be very like honest? This was a shenga kwa mfuko wa mtu, as much as
yeah,
I
and
know
actually
Ziko
the
came
fact
and
that the
landed somewhere, I don't
president,
think they're going to
the president told us that now it's short rains. I was expecting that speech to go with it's short rains. However,
money.
the money, but the statement always ends with
So
that
CEO,
information.
you can see the challenge. For those of us who talk to people in government, you can see the challenge. The young people are cynical. The young people, their trust in public service and government,
Is
how
zero.
Moses Kuria is saying,
Is
is
zero.
zero.
It
If
is
you listen to
zero.
her-
Yeah.
If you listen to Maria,
Is zero.
the trust in public service, if
Is
you're holding
zero.
a public office or you're in a public docket, you need to know that these young ladies, they don't believe that you're there to
Nothing.
do anything
For
Thank
them.
you.
public good.
Yeah.
So
you.
that again, if I'm an advisor, so the first challenge for Ruto is not even all these things that he's doing, running around every day. It's just to take a step back and actually see what can I do to infuse public confidence in your office. Without that, no, even if Ruto comes here flying, I don't think she's going to be convinced of anything.
And that
And they're the majority. The young people just don't believe in
70% actually of Kenyans are
admit they're
Yes, exactly.
71%.
And the question is,
That
are
is not
we
correct, but
are we going to vote again after all these stories?
I am
Oh,
not even
you'll
planning on
vote.
voting.
But-
trust you,
Okay,
me,
but-
I'm not planning on queuing to go and elect another leader who is going to put us through
Because
a mess.
this is
slaughter you.
Yes,
this is something like this is going low now. Now they've gone low, really low.
better,
We've started fuel. Now they even started
You know, the thing
to
is,
deal with nature.
I don't even, like, yes, and then you see, like, we held a very big climate change event in Nairobi. My goodness, I attended that. It was amazing. We had donors, we had people saying money is coming in, money is doing that and all that, right? Too much talk, to be quite honest. I feel like where we are right now, the government, yes, it's a very pretty government. It's pretty to look at in terms of, like, talks. But the actions, like, what are they doing? There's
it's like a
nothing that
beautiful
is-
girl without character.
Thank you, but touches are personal. But it does not make sense. I wish they would say, like, okay, these funds that was here, now let's allocate it for ABCD. It's like right now, for example, they know Turkana, year in, year out, there's always droughts, you know?
You see,
Si wachukue kidogo basi wapeleke huko wa fund.
my beef with Met department is that the science today in the world can tell you next year's rain and actually tell you what time, when, and how much will rain.
Doppler radar technology.
It is there. The technology is there.
Doppler radar.
So my question has always been, and I was very skeptical, you know, there's a pattern which El Ninos follow.
Yeah.
when they said there'll be El Nino, I was like, wow. This El Nino comes after La Nina. Have we had it?
No.
Is it that level?
So that should tell you it's not the Met department. It should tell you it's a government thing.
These are patterns which have been there for a very long time. A gentleman, a friend of mine, was telling me that if you go to the areas of Masai land, they knew that El Nino would happen when they slaughter a goat. They just check the innards of the goat and look, and they tell you. And someone just checked and said there'll be no El Nino.
Oh,
Traditionally.
Yeah, the traditional things work.
Traditionally, the guy just slaughtered his goat and told the guys, scientist, there's no El Nino.
So it's not a Met thing. It's a government thing.
I didn't
because
believe it.
they were supposed to procure motorboats.
No, motorboats. They were already hapa tukiwa na kamva just like 4 hours South Sea draining
So the-
isha kila mali.
So the question to Sakaja is, who procured, why were you procuring motorboats? Where was the tender?
Yes.
Because you see, it's a public office, it is, you have to tender it, it has to be competitive, and there must be people who sit in that panel to agree that this is what we are going to do.
Yeah.
And you've put that money aside. So we would like to know how much money was spent.
Do you think Sakaja means well? But maybe
Aliens.
before we go there, let me just mention that. let me just mention that.
It's nothing personal. It's whether it's just like
I asked Mudaura off the record if he could talk to the president, what would you advise him? The president's a young man compared to Mudaura. They know each other. Ruto was in cabinet when Mudaura was head of public service. He told me, you know, the first thing, it's just cabinet.
Is it?
Cabinet. Getting cabinet right is the first step.
but
You
then
have to-
shuffles.
Yeah, but
That was not
reshuffle
a
doesn't-
shuffle, that was a shuffle.
it was-
Do you know how you dance?
So getting the
The shuffle.
sharpest, getting sharp minds.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you have an economic advisor who says, you know, I think you guys saw this the other day. You know me, I don't care for Kenyans, and Kenyans don't care for me. Everything I do is in my own self-interest. You have to really care for people, man, so naturally. To be a leader, you have to, in fact, you have to feed people. Na woka enja.
It's called public service.
Yes.
It is not private
Yeah,
service.
exactly.
If you want to do private service,
Yeah, just
become
go
a
and-
lawyer.
Yeah, go and.
I don't know, Benji and CEO and Maria, maybe you can advise me on this one. For me, I feel like it's very wrong that they have a lawyer running a different department instead of like, let's say for example, you have Sujui, what in charge of roads, whatever they did, it's like law.
Oh, I see what you
You
mean.
have,
A
instead of
lawyer is
having an
running
engineer,
roads, a doctor is
who,
running.
yes, a doctor is running
environment.
tourism.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
instead of being on the health sector, and you know, I feel like when they get the correct people, they can be able to advise. The cabinet can be really done quite correctly. Doesn't make sense.
good
You cannot
point,
have someone who has not even done economics trying to tell you how business is done, how trade is supposed to. You have someone who's like a white high school dropout telling you how to, and it's a whole government with over 50 million people.
Yeah.
She's
She's got a good point. People are just looking like, really? Credibility.
Yeah,
You lack
it is not bad to have, if you immerse yourself into what you're supposed to do as a CS, and you have a proper, you see the people who run the accounts are actually the PSs.
Yeah.
But even our PSs, we are not sure that they are as competent as they are.
The president said it.
Yeah, so now the
He said
question
it. I
is,
call them
yeah,
and they have no clue what is happening.
yeah.
Fire
So
them.
it's about
No,
competence.
no, you
Like
can't.
fire
You
all
can't.
the-
You can't.
And this Kenya knowing how this country works,
They
Ruto was
can't.
absolutely right. Like unapigia tu mtu even they have no clue.
What
If
the
Miss
docket
inafanya
says.
kazi aje, where has this reached?
And that's where they will procure anything they want and then get money to do whatever they want and
Exactly.
act as if there's no problem. We are okay.
But then it's the tax that is coming.
The
from
tax
that
is
payslip.
coming and then you're not told where the money goes to. Because like this El Nino billions, no one is talking about them
gonna
anymore.
be like another
We are going to
Kemsat
forget.
kind of-
Yeah,
But you're waiting, we'll wait for them.
for the El
And-
Nino.
No,
Oh,
For the
okay,
boats.
for the boats maybe.
Basi
For the
zipeleke
rain.
Uhuru Park zikuwe basi
Okay,
za
you know we
kudai-
might be saying this and then
Uhuru
El
Park
Nino
yenye
starts
wanacharge
today.
pesa.
So
Nini, yeah?
Uhuru Park yenye wanacharge pesa sasa.
You know-
So if you're poor, how do you go to Uhuru Park?
Man.
okay,
You're already struggling to survive. Unaishi kwa slum.
Beji,
Hauna green
unashanzana,
space.
you
The only
pick
place you
two
can go and talk to your wife or your girlfriend is
Uhuru Park for free.
For free, na mkunywe soda. Now you can't even go there.
no, you can't go there.
We have to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Actually, even Arboretum, we don't go nowadays.
Oh no, yeah, but they Arboretum. I'd
They-
actually forgotten about it.
They pay too.
Nowadays,
pay everywhere.
every public space
wrong.
is being. It's
But I
totally
thought it's a
wrong.
public space.
It's a
We are
public
supposed to
space.
go there and just relax and think of the taxes that has been increased.
Basi tukaeni pale chini
Think of how we
expressway.
can walk.
And
Penye
see, if
kuna
you want to know how
tushamba.
bad this is, I'm
Yeah.
strong on social media. I see a lot of discussions. I saw how, the government the other day actually, Treasury asked Kenyans, because, for example, the Twitter space,
Yeah.
people call it X, me I call it Twitter.
Still Twitter.
The Twitter space is so influential and wide, you know that.
Yeah.
Any discussion is had there with, with angles and dynamics from Dubai to where it's a global platform. So the other day, the Treasury CS came and said, and especially intelligent discussions also happened there. Can Kenyans help us think where else we can get taxes? And people are just talking and joking and saying, if these guys find a way to tax air, they will. And what was sad and interesting and laughable as well, some guys were like, guys, please stop joking about this. How watu wataanza kutax pumzi? You're like, we might laugh now, but in 5 years, like, you have to swipe something, ndio utoke kwa nyumba umelipa air. If they could, they would.
They would actually.
How
No, I thought about it that once you fuel your car, you also go hapo kwa pumzi, hapo kwa
wapo
petrol
unatoa
station.
pumzi.
Nani?
Hapo
Unaweza
una-
unampeanga 10 bob.
Yeah, now you'll be paying. Now utakuwa una
No,
unalipa hapo. Okay, I'm not giving you ideas, please.
Kanjwa na shika wewe
But you
mbona
see,
unamua?
but you see, we also to blame, and I always say this, as Kenyans, we're the ones to blame because we talk too much and then we don't act. Like, if we decided to go to that parliament, like on a proper demonstration and strike, whereby it's like a whole, we can throw these people out. Like, these people came and begged us to vote for them. Then wanaingia hapo.
And 5 years later, they are going
No,
to beg.
the last year,
They're going to
the last year towards the election, you will see mabarabara zitaanza kumaliziwa, watu small vitu zitaanza hata kupakwa rangi.
lot of talk.
Yes, a lot of talk. Like, you see, we've
Empty
already
talk,
done
not.
this.
And then 5 years later, you see now, right now, the way we are complaining on this panel, we will be here saying now, we gave him again, we hope he'll change.
Man.
I'm looking at all of you.
Let's move to the next
Let's move
topic.
to the next one. What's broken?
Hawking outlawed, vendors compensated. Who is running this country? Guys.
Lordy, lordy, lordy.
You see,
Hawkers. Should I say hawkers or vendors?
I think
Ban.
my biggest problem with this, the county of Nairobi, is that if you come to power and you say that you will not have demarcations, every developed city has a way of how business is transacted. There are those, what we call the flea markets, where people come on Sundays and organize their trade. Those are the informal sector. But in Nairobi, the bottoms-up approach was that the city is for the hustlers. So people can just spread their wares, people everywhere and every day and daily. So if that was your campaign promise, you cannot wake up the next day and start a crackdown. Because you told them, remember, these are the people who said, oh, Mtumba is not bad. We do not want textile industry. We just want Mtumba, we want things, we want shoes, we want danias and nyanyas on the cities in the CBD. How do you organize yourself that way? And then the next day, now you are attacking the smoky guys because of putting their trolleys in the way. I think the biggest problem with Sakaja is that he realized too late that he needs to collect the city taxes. He needs to have an organized city. The city is extremely dirty because it's not well cleaned. The matatus are running rowdy everywhere. There's order, public order, which is required. And it's complete disorder. Now he's came into the picture too late. But you promised these guys anyway. So how? You didn't have a working solution.
So CEO, let me give you the social angle so
Yeah.
now we can go a bit deeper with these young ladies.
Yeah.
Let me make you feel bad from two angles.
Yeah.
Let me make you feel bad. You know, Maria, all these years after independence, and now that we have a new president and a living president who just left power the other day, guess what? He left Kenyans poorer.
Yes.
It is unthinkable. We're talking of vendors. Unaweza fikiri ni vendor anauza kitu ya maana.
Yes, anauza smoky.
These are hawkers selling eggs, boiled eggs, selling mtumba, selling sweets. Why do I say you'll feel bad? Just imagine the hawkers you meet, and as a social activist, I try to humanize the situation. The hawkers you meet is a 34-year-old father of somebody selling sweets. Conchita, the sweet si yake ni ya mwindi ndasleria.
Yeah.
Apewe commission.
Hata unanunua sweet ya 20 bob in the hot sun, and you even wonder, you're just driving, you buy Wrigley's chewing gum. And you just, if you're human, you just ask yourself, this is someone's dad.
Yeah.
There's a Chinese store that has Kenyans that walk around advertising it.
I know it.
Or they just stand in the sun and say, we have a sale. Wanasimama saa 2 asubuhi, you'll see them there at 6 p.m. At 7, just walking. That's someone's dad. You, because you have a job, you're a big consultant, you don't care.
I care.
We have the dimensions of this situation, CEO, that demonstrate to us how we destroyed all our industries. How the job market is a complete nightmare. And I was just giving this example to come to the point of, you know, the king is coming to Kenya soon, the king of England. The other
is he
time,
coming to
let me
you?
finish. The other time it was the US president. So I've lived in London, I've lived in America. In these countries, there's never a time you clean the streets because the president of Kenya is coming.
Oh, never.
I remember later.
You never clean the streets.
Your grass, your pop.
But you see, we have a very dirty underbelly in our society. We have the unwashed and unclothed masses.
Yeah.
Wale hawajakula na ni wengi.
Sana.
They are all over all these roads. Outer Ring, huku, wapi, Kenyatta Avenue. Kenyatta Avenue is named after the name of the first president. Now, we've not had the courage, CEO, to sit and actually remake this country. So now it's a time to shoo away the dirt. Ndio king akikuja apate Nairobi
Iko
yenye
safi.
it looks a bit better because haitakuwa safi because ni chafu zaidi. So these two factors, I wanted to bring them so that, you see, sometimes in feeling bad, it can bring like a self-awakening or a social awakening.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Njiru. Hata unabomoa hizi nyumba, first of all, they are even so disorganized vile zimejengwa. Na kumbe hata zimejengwa wrongfully, and they paid money to the wrong people. What kind of country is this, surely?
Let me tell you one thing.
Ni kichaka nini?
Like I've said before, this governor confuses me. People may say it's personal, but for me, it's more of like it's nothing personal. It's just realistic. I feel like they don't have people who tell them like, listen, whatever you're doing is effed up. There's need to have documentary that shows the Nairobi you see versus what actually happens.
Correct.
Uonyeshwe mtaani, you see the takataka, you see how
the Nairobi that used to be.
Yes. Like, it's high time people started exposing all these governors from whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing.
Actually,
we can't get Germans, we partner with them and do proper disposal, you know, incineration, etc. We can't, Maria, we can't do that.
We can.
What the heck,
we
man?
have so much big land where
Dandora Dam said iko tu vile ilikaa in 1987.
Until now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I saw yesterday Boniface Mwangi was there, the activist.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dandora Dam said bado nakaa tu hivi. It's
And
even a menace to the environment.
it's now near even Dandora Secondary School.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's...
But then now, if you look
now,
at
now,
the
now
numbers-
let me put
Let
it.
Ruto go and fix that.
Let me put it now in a human. Let me bring the human perspective of this. Has this governor ever walked and seen what the hawkers do? Because you will find a woman
He did, and then
seated
he went and
there,
apologized.
and there was
Maria.
that kababy. Like it's not fun to hold your small child
Let me
to
answer.
sell tomatoes.
Let me
He
answer
It's
went
not.
and- he went and
Let me answer
apologized.
that. The governor said yesterday, I'm using his words. He arrived, most top politicians come to the office early. It was before 7, akapata hawker, so he even stopped the car. And the hawker recognized him. And they just said, Governor, pole. Because apparently, as per the bylaws and whatnot, they're not supposed to do that. The other issue, of course, is that they actually lay their wares on the sidewalks, like where you're supposed to be walking. To me, this is all just evidence and manifestation of poverty. It is sickening. It is so sad. How do we fix it? Like you're saying, someone is holding a baby.
A small baby.
Should they even be having babies, though?
You see, guys, you
You
know,
know, for you to go there to go sell in the
see,
streets, for you to go there with your child to go sell in the streets,
You're
it means
super desperate.
you are desperate. You
Yes.
have
We've
no
got to
option.
But you see, the thing
like
is,
you really don't have
but
an
you see,
option.
Maria, my issue is with this, with Sakaja's speech is, again, he's just too pretty, words with no, without thinking of the consequences. Yes, you're saying that, okay, you're banning the vendors and all that. what is the procedure for this? And then you're saying let them have pallets, I don't know what and all that. What is the procedure for this? Have you guys like organized maybe like a vendors organization whereby, okay, maybe they will go register, yes, I'm a vendor for this. If you're going to have like a proper urban setup,
You know, if they do
let
that,
them
they'll need a budget, right?
So now you see, so he just wakes up and say, no, it's enough, okay, tomorrow. He's not thinking of the consequences. This is a livelihood for someone. This is how someone makes a living. So that means what? More poverty. You're just increasing it and increasing it. And then you're saying CBD, oh, this.
You know, Conchita, you're giving them an idea to look for more budgets, to come, get money.
Oh my goodness, my
yeah,
katax.
yeah.
KRA and Tacha.
No, they're going to get the budget and then they will ignore everything and then act like, okay,
It's
we'll
hard
help
being
them.
smart
No,
in this
please,
country.
okay. Some of us prefer to buy from hawkers because we don't want them to go home with nothing.
Yes.
Like, we don't want to go home with them to go home and sleep hungry, and they were there on the streets.
His speech was not well thought of. Yes, I know he thinks he means well. Yes, I know he just wanted the claps and all that. But there's procedure. These are human beings. You can't just wake up today and say no. Okay.
You know,
and then what happened to public participation though? You have ever participated in one?
constitutional mandate.
Yeah, I've never seen one. Like all these things they're making the decisions, there's supposed to be like public participation.
They are looking
Conchita,
Whereby-
are you trying to say that my good friend Sakaja whose slogan Nairobi lazima iwak
Imewak nini?
is
So
doing
far,
nothing?
He's doing nothing. I think he needs to hire.
Actually, he's
a
making life
specialist.
difficult
He's
for
making life
people.
difficult.
He's making life
We
very
need
difficult
to
for
have a
people.
one
But-
run.
A meeting between Sakaja
So Conchita,
Trust
but
you me,
anyway,
we
for
will have a
me,
very viable one.
I need to be there to mediate.
for me, I always say that, and we know Sakaja very well. I told him the other day that he really missed the mark, by the way. He totally has missed the mark. His dishi na county for the kids is a scam.
Ugh.
It's a big scam.
It
I think
is.
it's a noble effort. I think the implementation is the problem because to feed kids is good.
It
But
is,
what's the
it is
problem?
good to feed kids.
Don't involve
We
kids
agree to feed kids.
in a political.
But I hate when you feed kids to fatten people's pockets.
Thank you.
True.
You can feed kids. Do you know what? You can feed kids. You can put that money. Those kids have existing kitchens in their schools.
Yes.
Each and every school in the city, in the slum,
Yes.
have a way how they organize themselves
Okay.
and eat. But now where I say it's a big scam is when now you start to organize it, you know who is supplying gas for that and how much is being made from it. Do you know
It's a
who is
tender.
constructing that kitchen and how much money is being given?
yeah.
Do you know who is
Special
supplying?
interest groups, yeah.
So who is supplying the food? So it has become a whole scam
Yeah.
not to benefit the
And then the big guys
kids.
come and say,
Yes. Oh.
what is there
It's-
for me
And
here?
then
It
it's
is-
for friends. I feel like
Eh.
it's just a
Actually,
friendship thing.
can they just do a budget, put it on the wall so that you can know how much they're
Participation.
stealing?
Public
nice.
participation.
Each
Let
school-
people just come and.
Each school can. In nursery school, they know in a term, we need 100,000. This is the mama mboga who prepares food for these kids. It is this much. That money, you say the way Kibaki did, money ende kwa mtaa. In those neighborhoods,
FP,
people would make money
Yeah, that's what
and
they saw.
elevate poverty.
of course.
But now, the person who is supplying gas for dish in account, and we will not name him, and we know him,
But you see,
is making 700 million.
But you see, what is pissing me the most at the same time is, you know, as much as you want to help the people, penye mnaishi mnajuana. Like you see, if he was really genuine, like you said,
Nyumba kumi.
unajua mama mboga wa hiyo place, yeye anajua penye anaenda atasort out hawa watu. You cannot tell me you're going to bring your friend from Karen to come and supply sijui nini at this what, yet kuna hiyo gas mtaani ama whatever it is, that they could be in a much more better position to help the actual people. I mean, like, stop creating jobs for your friends who are already fat and rich. Like, give the people who are struggling the jobs.
The government was for the
I feel like I
hustlers.
need to have a sit down with this guy. Like, for me,
I'll try to organize. I'll try to organize that.
Let's go. Take us, Maria. Take us to a break.
You can should take us to a break.
you know, I am done being personal and too emotional. I'm trying to be logic. So we are going to be right back after this break.
New Superstay Vinyl Ink from Maybelline, New York. Shake up your long wear with no budge vinyl color. Color lock formula. Up to 16-hour wear. New Superstay Vinyl Ink, Maybelline, New York.
Session here, hey Kochita. I don't know whether we have Benji. Are you the referee between Kochita and Governor Sakaja?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
Yes.
I'm sending him a message right now as we speak.
That there's trouble. He has to up his game.
He needs to be told the truth. I
He needs
think,
to meet Conchita.
I think everyone around him, everyone
Yes.
surrounding him is not honest with him. They're just kissing is, you know? Yeah.
Don't go there. Guys, you can see where we are going. But let's take it off.
I don't know.
Kochita.
The other thing that has been really like on my mind and disturbing me lately is why does the government wait for people like to be able to do like heavy investment in terms of developing their, you know, their homes, then they go and knock it off and then they demolish it. I'm like, why is no one accountable? Again, Sakaja. Just kidding. I'm just kidding on that one. I don't know. Maybe Maria?
I am a victim.
Yo.
Yeah, I am a victim of the Mavoko demolition.
Oh no.
Yeah, I am. Actually, it was, you see those lands that you meet your boyfriend and then you decide, oh, we want to invest.
God, don't invest in a boyfriend.
I
No
invested in
husband?
one, he married me. So anyway,
Just kidding, yeah.
we had land there and
Yeah.
then, okay, we had not, okay, there are people who are developed.
Yeah.
There are people who are developed. There are others who had families living in there. Actually, have some of our friends were there, and one of morning, according to the story that I had,
Yeah.
the person, the one of the victim told me, like they were just, it was just like it was intentional, kinda. Like
What do you mean?
we are intentionally destroying. Like they came, we are not touching your place. You just relax. You just want this lane down. The next day, relax. Down. The third time now you're told get out. Then I'm like, why didn't you tell me you will get here so that I can relocate my children, so that I can make sure that my property is okay. So it was like an intentional destruction. Like we just have to destroy and make sure that it's not there at all. It was very evil and very awful.
Mombasa Road is problematic.
And then you know the problem was someone like me would wish Portland would call a press conference and speak for these people to have that, like, you know, like Portland, just call a press conference and talk. Because so far we've had every story there could be. We've had
Except
all of
Portland's
them,
side.
except Portland's side.
And they're still quiet.
And they're still quiet. But if you go to every headline, Portland's land, Portland's land, and then we're like, this is a huge company or whatever.
So did
It
they
must
collect
have a
money
board.
When you bought, did Portland collect the money?
Yeah, who collected the money?
Portland sold this to a certain, it's more like the way you sell to
Politician
chairman.
or-
No.
okay. Oh, like
the
a
way
SACCO.
you sell to SACCOs.
Okay.
Yeah. So SACCOs come and then they decide now we are selling there. You see, like for example, a teacher SACCO, they have their place. No,
Yes,
these
yes,
people,
yes.
they have their land, so we are selling the land. So that's what happened. I don't have an issue, like personally I would say, I don't have an issue if Portland would come and reclaim their land and say that, okay, the SACCO stole from us.
But they knew people building from the get-go.
The problem is, it's not like they were building temporary homes. Like someone took all his retirement money,
20 million.
all your retirement money, like now you're not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Put a structure down. And the problem, okay, for me, okay, I know I look hungry, but I am. How do you wait for me to do a housewarming for you to come and destroy it 2 days later? How dare you? Like, it's not right. They
Okay,
were
that's
supposed
Sorry, Maria.
Benji, calm me down.
Yeah, come down, girl.
Yeah.
Come down.
They did something very wrong. It was very wrong, by the way. But I would hope Portland would speak.
I don't know. For me, it's more of like, is there any like urban planning in terms of, you know, like urban planning, how this is it's not to be built here, you cannot be able to sell this, and then they make it like public knowledge, just even if you go and look for these title deeds.
You know
because
how
I'm
many
sure
people
they have
are
title deeds.
buying lands? Do you know how many people like you, now they come to you and tell you now, rebuy again. Kayole Masimba area, rebuy again. Like, we keep wondering, okay, someone like me is so reluctant about investing in the city.
Even zero now they're offering to buy again.
Why are we
Why?
rebuy?
What
Why
is
are we
that?
buy? What is that? What is this
What
thing
happened
they
to
call
the money?
buying again?
What
The-
happened to the money?
You see, the land issue is very complex. It's very complex because if you followed this country for some time, in the 1970s, the first invasion of land started by a guy in Dandora who invaded Gitare Marigo. He was a little guy known as Nyam Nyam. So Nyam Nyam looked at the open space there and realized, because you remember, initially the way this city, was constructed, you could see that the estates, apart from before Umoja 1 only actually, and 2,
Yeah.
the rest of that was Don Home land.
And quickly,
Yes.
you know, we're just talking here. Do Kenyans know who is Don Home? What is Dandora? So Dan and Dora was a couple, an
Yes.
American couple.
Yes. Dan
So
and
it's Dora.
yes.
Ah, so
They
Dandora.
all want
That's
Wow.
important.
Alas.
And they were
Even
good
Kenya
people.
just talk-
Yeah, people just
Yeah,
talk.
we don't know these
Even
things.
Don Home was Mr.
I was
Don.
today
Yeah,
years old
Mr.
when I
it was a
discovered
big-
Dan and
Dora.
It was a dairy farm.
Watch
It
out
was
for my
dairy farm.
status, guys. That's the caption on Instagram next.
Don't know
Dan
what
and
that
Dora.
Dairy, it was the
Oh,
biggest
wow.
dairy
Yeah,
farm.
I know a lot of it, especially young people, they don't know this.
They
I
don't
like,
know.
okay, first of all,
So
thank you
now,
for calling us.
these were
Yeah.
farms which were owned by individuals.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what happened is that
It was a dairy farm.
it's a dairy farm. The city actually reached here, Jerusalem, Jericho.
Correct.
Then Buruburu was a World Bank project.
Correct. 5,000 units.
5,000 units constructed in the 80s towards until 90s, and then it moved out. So Komarok came in later.
Okay, who's Komarok now?
So
I'm learning.
Good question. You know, I was very surprised to find. So my shags is Kangundo.
Yes,
On your way to Kangundo is Komarok, the rock.
yes,
Yes.
So they took the name from Komarok, which now they've put a shrine.
yeah.
And people
Yes,
go,
I see the
so it's
shrine.
a rock, yeah.
It is a rock.
So I used to people say,
Where is the shrine?
so people used to say, it's just before Nguluni on Kangundo Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
After Nguluni is Tala. So when I
Okay.
was a very young boy, like our dad used to, that is Komarok. So many years later, I went abroad, came back, I would hear people saying, Komarok is near Mama Lucy. So I would wonder, what are they talking about? But it's Komarok Estate, which
Yes.
are these two small estates that came after Umoja, etc.,
Yes.
named after somebody and after somewhere. So the actual rock is before, it's after VOK.
Yes, I know that place
Now
very well.
people do a lot of excursions there. It was just a rock, then I guess the church built a shrine.
Ah.
Then people came,
Go
yeah.
there and pray.
Benji, you said that Koma is Kamba, but I wanted to say that.
Which
when-
means sleep, so the
Yes.
sleeping rock.
the sleeping rock. So now, the problem of Nairobi land is because of the colonization. This land, apart from the CBD, remember where Mlango Kubwa?
Yes.
You know where Mlango Kubwa is?
Yes, near St. Teresa's School.
Yes. Mlango Kubwa was actually a gate.
Correct.
It was a gate for Africans who are
Yes.
not allowed to go beyond that point
Correct.
without identification.
Which is why shags were called reserves.
Reserve.
They were to reserve.
Reserve
View
the,
there. So now the problem we have with the Nairobi land is that the city was clearly demarcated. And then these homes, Dan and Dora had their place. Nyayo Stadium was the owner, that Mzungu who gave it for the building of the stadium was also owned by a different person. Now, Africans, when they came, this land had already titles. From Umoja was owned by Kiambu farmers, an association. Then, Kirima Garrison, who rose to fame from selling Mzee Jomo Kenyatta soup, Bulmaru soup, and establishing butcheries, bought a lot of acres in Jiru. Now, what happens? In Jiru area, Mihango, Choka,
Choka. Joska.
Joska, all that area was owned by
Ruai even.
by this gentleman. He had 1,000 acres, his personal land. So there's a gentleman known as Ochok, who was a Legio Maria adherent. Looks and says, this land we can invade it. And brings guys and they invade and establishes those estates there. And suspecting guys, there are two types of people who buy land. One, there are people who are told, if you build a house, this adverse possession, you'll take over this land. So you take your 50 and 100,000,
Squatters,
you
basically.
buy
Yeah.
very quickly and you build and you stay.
Yeah.
After 10 years,
It's actually 8.
it's actually yours, you become yours. Now, many people buy land that way.
Yeah.
Now, they're unsuspecting because people like maybe Maria who are told there's an investment opportunity. The sharks now come and tell you people have built. Kuna plot hapa now, from 100,000, now they're 5 million or 500,000. Then unsuspecting you come and buy. The EAPC land in Mavoko was EAPC land. Everyone knew.
That's what I'm hearing people saying.
Everyone knew. Even in 2013, it was in the media. People knew he is Shamba near East African Portland Cement.
So who sold it?
So the sharks, the way I'm saying, these sharks say
Brokers.
they came and sold, made their money, and they hoped this thing will change. And
After
people
10
will
years.
get, after 10 years, and you see, my problem is not the people who buy. My problem is the premise President William Ruto campaigned on. He said that even if you've built somewhere and you've spent your money, we will have a sit down with the owners of the land so that you pay, then so that your property, no property will be destroyed.
Then the properties were...
Are we
Then the
supposed to forget that
property-
they were destroyed immediately he left there to China?
Yes, now, because someone has sold
Flying
that to someone.
president.
Yeah, he left. On the same day he left, the
same
caterpillars
day.
were there to do the
So
job.
now, you,
After telling EPZ, I will give you 1,500 acres of land for you to produce. We are not even buying the produced things. We don't have money.
Like, for me, the thing is now that they've demolished, like, where's the accountability? Also, those people who were selling this
Portland,
land,
I wish Portland would come and say, it's our land,
but why are they quiet though?
But
Like,
you see,
but we should
Portland-
have given you notice.
Portland cannot say anything. Portland has not evicted you.
so who was evicted?
The,
now? Who's
the government
demolishing?
has evicted you. The government,
Why is the government evicting us if
On
the land
behalf
is
of
for
Portland?
Portland?
because the government wants to give that land to someone else.
Then, then stop mentioning
And
Portland.
that is mafia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stop
No
mentioning
comment.
Portland. Just
Hii
tell us
government
this is.
itatuonyesha ile kitu.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
people-
this hii government atatuonyesha ile kitu. By the
And
time
they really call on the president to just, I don't know how to say this politely. He needs to infuse confidence in Kenyans.
You see, if
I don't
let me
think
tell
We don't
you,
have a government that just
even
like,
even
looks
with
crooked.
sedation
Listen,
and
if-
infusion.
this
in
if
government
Portland,
is crooked.
if Portland wanted to demolish or kick guys out, Portland would have just come and said, since you've occupied this space, actually that's what you are looking
Portland
for,
acquired.
is money.
Yeah.
So
So
now
who's the
you
puppeteer? Who's behind that?
pay the
Or
market
which big
rate.
person owns that land?
See now, Kirima's people saying you can pay at the market
Market
rate,
rate, yeah.
which is fine. If you come where I've built and actually it was your land, and I've lived there for 10 years or 15,
yeah.
I'll pay you market rate so that I preserve my investment.
Yeah.
But you say demolish.
And
so
I'm
that
telling
we
you,
can
they were not
apportion.
told that we are demolishing. That's
It
not
was a
what happened.
surprise.
It was
So in
like,
the morning you wake up and
I'm
then,
telling you, so you know the president was there, said
Yeah.
EPZ land, everything was silent, nothing was said. Then, and I'm telling you, those who are far were told, not you, we are not getting there. On Friday, on Saturday, we are not getting there. On Saturday, they go to our place. Then on Sunday, now they tell you, get out, get out, get out. The caterpillar is
No
at your
warning, no
gate.
nothing.
They just want to.
what about the properties in, TVs, fridges?
If you were there, you would rush and do things.
Yeah, but now,
But
right now they want
this
to
was
do
so
Syokimau
inhumane.
as
Like,
well.
they were not doing anything, right? Because if you are, at least tell them, in 5 days you are going to demolish. So that I
Give them
can
a
take
warning,
my
yeah.
kids, put them away, take my expensive property, put it somewhere.
Where do Kenyans get
Don't
this
just come.
Like,
Like-
unakanyaga tu mwenzako kama.
I wish they would have gotten foreigners to all those caterpillars because I'm there, I'm getting these orders, demolish this house. I'm looking at that woman crying with the kids out
Yeah,
there.
she just looks like
Yeah.
you're
I'm just like, okay, this is so painful
heartbreaking.
on all levels. No,
But no one is there to speak on the behalf, to present this.
you know, I'm going to say this. They always say that karma always comes back, right? Why does it always come back to small things? This is big.
No, I feel
Karma
like
should be here by now.
it's very sad because my mother called me today in the morning, asking me if I know any information in terms of demolishing around Syokimau and which area. I'm like, to be quite honest, I'm just hearing it right now. I haven't been on news. I try to avoid it sometimes because
Just
it's
be
just too much.
I avoid it all the
So
time.
now it's more of like I have to plan for my dear mother. So she said it in Kao. Sorry, my kama might be horrible. She said, "Musinivala osiaitwe." At this point,
It's true.
so and I'm
almost
like,
where you're born.
Almost where
Almost
you are
where
born.
you are
born.
At this point,
My
we're
mother
there.
Those are so fly, baby.
In more ways than one.
yeah.
I thought you were maybe Luya.
Oh, yeah, Hawena.
What happened?
Anyway, so
Bade.
so basically, that's what she told me today in the morning when I was having a conversation with her, and I'm like, okay, mom, we'll just wait and see. which part of Syokimau. Maybe they're going to do it in like phases. Phase 1 is this year, phase 2 next year.
No,
I don't know. I just
Let's
thought,
just be careful. Let's be
I
careful.
tell people that Mavoko is a very dangerous area.
Where Wavinya was mayor.
Yeah. Wavinya and
And that guy
people
Macau
and Macau,
Yes, so Peter.
they did
Yeah.
a lot of
lot of stuff.
all that problem there
Why are they not being held accountable?
No,
is
let me tell you.
Wavinya
Now you
and
see.
Macau.
And Macau
Why are
was
they
a
not being
MP.
held accountable?
Because they knew this land EAPC and they still said they got a deal to sell it to people, some
Yeah.
of them. So they knew and
In distant
suspected.
countries, both of them would be in Daniel.
In the, yeah, because
Yeah.
they're the people who brought all that problem. Because that land, the people who were buying didn't know that land is someone else's. But
That's
then
the
they
point.
knew.
They
Oh
knew.
my
So,
goodness.
anyway,
It's crazy.
oh,
Sorry.
it's so sad to introduce the
sorry.
next topic
Yeah.
after talking about the demolition. Now let's see, because now I'm imagining I would be the person demolishing in my car. So there's a video going around of, it went around actually, the lady who had a government person in the car, and then he took a kanjo. And then she took him so far. Is it that we don't respect them anymore, or they deserve such treatment?
Let me go first.
Because okay, I want. Do we not respect them, or as this lady, the lady could have had enough. That could be another reason. So
Let me go
please,
first.
tukuchokama.
Kenyans are fed up. I say this all the time.
Yeah.
If you're in uniform, traffic police, usually, even administration police, city council askaris, city county askaris. The first thing is they don't respect their uniforms. They extort money,
Yes.
they solicit. If you're even a nice looking girl, they ask you for your phone number.
Yes.
I've been asked
Disrespectful.
for, there's a girl who stopped me and quickly asked me for money. Then, we just had a conversation. It was on the highway. Then he told me, boss, if you don't have change, give me 1,000. Give me 1,000, I give you change.
Oh my God.
It was actually shocking.
I want to tell you, give me 1,000 and
You're
give
not
you
a
change.
police officer. But CEO, can you just imagine the level of lack of self-respect and self-awareness? You are wearing a uniform, and that's why you see them fighting with PSP people wanakimbizana because hakuna heshima. You've been giving 50 bob, sasa mnajuana, the guys run and give them crumpled. So, the Kanjo people need to up their game. They need to respect their positions, respect their office, respect their uniform. Why are you jumping into someone's car?
She was beautiful.
You don't know who this person is. That's their personal property. You just stop CEO, I open his Mercedes, I jump inside.
It doesn't work that
You
way.
know, we have police
doesn't work
officers who
like
did
that.
that in Isli. It was the time when there was all this Al-Shabaab stuff. So some cops jumped in, and these guys were carrying bombs. So they just, they're suicide bombers.
What?
Yeah, in Isli. That happened a few years ago.
Kerere.
I mean, you must have a level of ethics, self-respect, and professionalism. I'm in uniform.
Yes.
I'm not just going to jump in anyone's car. I mean, you find someone who's crazy,
I think what you're talking
someone
about.
who is suicidal.
I would like
And they're
to ask
really,
Benji a question.
Chokoza leo?
Mimi sikuwa
Twende.
nimechoka na government.
I think I should
That's
ask
what I'm
Benji this
asking.
question.
Yes,
Benji,
yes.
the guy was begging.
Begging?
Afunguliwe, like just let me go.
Because
He
realized
was
had
now
made a
begging.
mistake. Because he realized he had made a mistake. What I'm saying, he should not have entered her car in the first place.
Yeah.
And next time, maybe he'll be begging somebody who is armed. So you have
Oh.
to. Yes, it's.
Yeah,
I mean,
true. Yeah.
people are going.
Crazy. People are tired.
There's another thing I see, CEO. Let me talk about this on air. I see this thing where a police officer uses his body to stop a car.
Huh?
Like a matatu, yeah. So a matatu, maybe they did. So he puts his body there for the matatu not to move.
pass.
Yeah, so there was one in Mombasa who did
Was
that.
knocked off.
And the matatu just ran over him.
That's it.
And he died,
you have
actually.
a family at home, you have a life and a future.
Wow.
Don't just take it for granted that everyone is docile or everyone has the patience. Don't use your own body.
This guy is like
Don't
also
use your own body.
frustrated.
Get a weapon, get
Okay,
a car,
they
give your
could be.
order and follow. Don't just stand there and say, I'll use my body to stop this matatu. Sometimes the guys maybe even high.
Maybe
You know, the
frustrated.
problem could be
terrible.
again, this lady recorded, it was on video.
Yeah.
How many times do we go through ill treatment from these people
And we don't
record and we don't say it
Let me
anywhere?
tell you.
And even if we do, the government will be like, this is wrong, inappropriate content, we are blocking your channel, we are throwing, because we are doing it out of the fact that they have more power.
Where did she drop him, by the way? At the airport?
I don't know. Like,
Dropped him in a
I feel like I'm the only person who hasn't watched that video.
So I think what has happened is that the country is undergoing a lot of challenges.
A lot of stress, man.
Serious stress, mental issues. The girl, it is wrong for that gentleman to get into the car.
Yeah, it was wrong.
It's totally wrong. And the city council askaris must know. We are dealing with a different generation.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And we are dealing in a technological generation. A generation where in my car there are cameras all over.
Yeah.
You try to pull a stupid stunt, it will record. People nowadays have the front cameras,
Dash cams.
they have dash cams,
Yeah.
they have the rear cameras. Anything when they're moving, they are recording each and every part of their life.
Yeah.
So now this man enters that car and realizes, normally, naturally, that's what they're used to. It's traditional. He joined the force. Have you ever asked yourself why police talk in the same tone? It's a culture.
It has to change.
It's a culture. You walk in, you are just a decent man.
Okay, whoever trains them also talks like that.
It's
No,
like
no, no,
Mombasa
it's
drivers, they all
decent.
drive the same. It's like they went to the same driving school.
Yeah, it's just a decent thing. You
Yeah,
just culture.
culture.
You walk in and you realize, oh, so for me to make money, I have to be
Yeah.
like this. So this guy realizes, for me to make money is to enter this woman's car. But this problem is deeper than even the city council askari. The Ubers or the vehicles.
There's a clip I saw, I hope Conchita saw.
Yes.
The Bolt one.
Yes.
I get into Bolt mad as hell. Like
Yeah.
nengenga kama nimekasirika ndio nisongeleshwe.
So there are
Just-
many. The problem we are dealing with is bigger than what you are saying.
It is
At
crazy.
least this one walked into the car.
And this was
and
a lady.
sat. This one is ferrying a
But you
passenger.
see-
Theo, you might remember some years back,
Yeah,
Caroline Mutoko put it in black and white.
Yeah.
In fact, on a full newspaper article.
yeah,
She was stopped and a cop insisted on entering her car.
yeah,
She locked the doors, rolled the window, and explained to him,
yeah.
I'm a single woman. I'm a civilian. I'm not armed.
Yeah.
You're a police officer. This is my private property. To Patanekwa station. She drove off to Parklands police station, parked her car, and waited for the cop there.
They didn't show up, did they?
Oh.
I think he did. It was a
But
big.
you see,
and she
but
said,
then- what
But,
normally
I'm not gonna
happens.
let a
but for the
police
fear,
officer into my-
for the fear of a normal person, you know, Caroline
you see the
Mutoko
thing,
has a
yeah.
follow-up. Imagine someone like me tell a
Do you know
police that
why?
one, they will get there and say that I had
he
drugs.
locked
Touch
the
up
door.
coffee.
They will get there and tell.
Yeah, touch up coffee.
Yeah.
You know,
It depends.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's a violation of personal.
But you see, that's the thing. I feel like people need to be trained in
Of
terms of like
privacy,
how to deal with policemen, also with people in that in the official uniform. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's need for
Protocols,
knowledge in terms of like
communications,
yes, in case they do this, who do you go report to? Get the whatever number, go file a complaint.
Capital
let them-
FM has assured that
Power,
I think on
power. Anyone in power just
Everyone in
feels like
uniform. Yo,
this stuff.
they just feel like
So-
they can just control everything.
doesn't make sense.
So this issue of the Uber or
And the balls.
more Bolt
Actually, it's
or
more
more
balls.
road, this small, what we say, we just say online taxis is becoming a mess.
It is a mess.
There are good ones, there are bad
Yes.
ones, and there
Yeah.
are ugly ones. And every night you'll hear stories which you ask yourself,
So it's not about Bolt per se.
It's the people
Based on the thing
driving.
that was trending
Okay,
the other
me
day called-
personally, I have
More-
an issue with
Was
Bolt.
it called
Yeah, I'm gonna lie.
Adriana Mwangi was trending the other day?
yeah.
There's a lot of bottled up bitterness and anger, especially with Kenyan men.
Why though? Like I didn't hurt you. Let me
There's-
tell you.
there's one
No,
second,
you know,
one
we
second.
know
There's-
Bolt don't
there's-
have an office in Kenya, so there's no you can report.
Exactly. It's just not about one taxi company or one food company or one particular event per se. It's just a latent, seething anger that is then channeled through any available avenue. This has to do a lot with the way the New World Order is, very harsh against the boy child. High expectations. Men are supposed to provide. They also aren't commensurate opportunities for work. So you're not working, you're supposed to provide. Nobody understands that. So you find that there's in the society a lot of men that are just so angry and so bitter. They feel that I should have that girl, but guess what? I can't afford her. In fact, yesterday, what was trending, I think you saw from Maverick Aoko, is that we live in a country now where cost of living has gone up. Even a simple statement like, I love you, which used to be, I love you too, is now, I love you, babe, sijalipa rent. And that's on the boy child. So men are very bitter, men are angry. You saw something trending the other day. I mean, that we can even have a discussion about non-consensual sex, about rape. And majority of the guys are just tweeting, they're like, oh, she deserved it. Ukiona mwanamke anakunya pombe, stay away. Never talk to a woman with a tattoo, with a nose ring. They deserve it. I mean, yeah, it was trending all over. It was trending number one, actually. In fact, it removed Uhuru's trend because it was also Uhuru's birthday. So Uhuru was trending. Then that removed him. And it's continued. Yeah, he left us in so much debt. Happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday.
Happy dates.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Mr. President, happy birthday.
Anyway, let's
UK, Muna.
So for anyone who is traveling at night, especially the young ladies who go to club and all that, be careful of the online.
There are some apps that are specifically just for women.
Yes.
So I think Little Cab has a specific
for women
app that you can request a ride.
Like a female driver.
It's with a female driver, and then immediately share your ride as well. It's just so that wherever you're going, they can see your journey, they can see anything fishy.
But what about if it's the woman who's driving who is in danger from a guy who just requested for women only?
True, that too.
Oh, you know,
I do have a friend who was raped by a taxi driver. Amkamba lady, and she told me actually that she was so mad and there was a lot of back and forth. And she was actually just going to go and visit the mganga on him. But you know, you listen to these things here and you're like, this happens. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth. Because she's like, she was screaming, why are you taking me? And he took her somewhere past Don Homuko, you know, oh my Lord. I mean,
my goodness.
Yeah, you must be very careful at night.
At night, yes.
But share your ride. Okay.
I always share.
Your
I always
ride
share
is
like
really
my
nice.
ride. If I'm to leave a place, I always make sure that I've shared they're able to follow up. Just in case of anything, like mbona umesimama mbona. But now my friends and I used to have this thing whereby we interchange each other. So if I get for you that ride, I can be able to see, I can get that person's ride.
Especially when you're hot.
Yes. So especially when you're?
Especially when you're hot, babe.
Let's move on to the next
Take
topic.
all necessary precautions.
Let's move on to the next topic. So, ladies and gentlemen, this week, there's a serious discussion which has been going on X or Twitter, as you call it.
Twitter.
That this idea of women, married women going for night out, ladies' night out and all that, and you as a man, you are seated there, you are saying, let me watch football with my friends. Let's we call them Miss Independent, go and enjoy. Then I've remembered that in Uganda, the biggest conversation right now is the DNA testing. The story goes like this, Benji. There's a gentleman who had a quarrel with the wife, and the wife, in jest, I don't think it was in jest, said, even if you make a lot of noise, even this kid is not yours. And the man said, what did you just say? What? This kid is not mine. So the man went and decided to take the DNA samples of all his 6 kids and took to a chemist, to a government chemist, and none was his. He thought he was dreaming. He took the same samples to South Africa for testing. None was his. So now, in the Kampala, the city of Impala, men decided to do DNA testing on their kids. And I will tell you, it has become a disaster. Most of those kids are not theirs. So you are busy, you are leaving your wife to go and have a night out with friends. You are a decent man, you know. You do not check on your wife's movement. What do you think?
Let the married woman, let the married woman answer us first.
No, let me give the man's perspective.
Yes.
And then the experienced lady who
Yes.
says marriage is trash
Yes.
can tell us. Marriage is in crisis in Kenya, that's a fact. It's also because of the economic disaster that is there.
Yeah.
Because many times a lot of these women are just looking for, sometimes they're looking for a sponsor, then they're getting financial inducements, etc. When money is in short supply, it comes with a lot of other societal issues, and the first casualty of this is the family. Having said that, trust is of utmost importance. If you're in a union where there's no trust, you shouldn't be there in the first place. I'm one of those liberal guys. I'm totally fine with my lady just going out and I'm
Yeah.
at home and I'm fine. Because I wouldn't even be there in the first place if I don't feel like she deserves to be with me, that we have trust. Because as you can tell, I can also get girls. So it's true. So if she's going to step out there with some dude, then you can also step out there with another lady. And the thing with that, CEO, what you need to understand is once you start to do that, when you're a union, then there's no marriage anymore. And if you have kids, then the kids then pay a very stiff price because of now your differences. She's been divorced, she can tell you more. Divorce is not easy.
It depends on what level
it's not a walk in the park. It's not something that you aspire like, now waleo, najua tunda divorce within 3 years. No.
Yeah.
It's not
You
a
don't
desirable
anticipate
thing.
it, yeah.
So what you do is you do your best to foster trust and harmony. You do that by having very good communication.
Yeah.
So let her go, but she knows that, if I go out, my husband doesn't expect me to be driving his car. He's my husband.
Yeah.
He provides. He loves me. He's married me. He didn't expect me to be in the club drinking busa, kissing another man. I mean, so again, it's your communication and the trust you establish. If you can't do that, marriage is not for everybody.
Yes.
You
true.
shouldn't be
Married.
You shouldn't be married in the first place. I tell people that all the time. Conchita, you shouldn't be married in the first place.
Marriage is not for me.
You just feel, if you just feel constrained, jailed, unhappy, bitter, no trust, you want to step out, step out. Don't be married. Be free. What do you think, expert?
The expert now.
Marriage is
Madam.
a scam.
Yeah, marriage is a scam. As you've seen, all of you are arguing on that level. Marriage is really a scam. So anyway, a lot of us right now, women first of all, we love the fact that we're empowered. From a young age, we have organizations that are singing on women empowerment and all that. But is there an organization that sings on men?
Boy child.
A boy child who can teach these men how to handle empowered women?
He was crucified. That guy, maendeleo wanaume.
Yeah.
No, actually, no one is teaching them how to handle empowered women. So right now, you marry someone and they don't know how to be constrained. Like you, when you're getting into marriage, you thought marriage was this woman is coming home on a weekend. You're not working, okay, play with the kids. For men, we are used to them knowing they have friends, they have deals here and there, they have football, they have things to, they always have things all the time. But a lot of people don't know that women have things, because right now that we are empowered, we need to make those deals too. We need to go out there and have fun too, and okay, my clients are here now, where can we meet? Let's meet this and this and this.
Yes, true.
There's that too. But we are empowered in such a manner that there's no one who is teaching these men how to handle these empowered women.
Sure.
So you find that some men are okay with you having the freedom, but for you to be okay with your wife having such a freedom, you need to be okay with yourself to know that I can trust you with the freedom I'm giving you. It's like a child. I'm giving you this glass to use because I know you won't break it. But if I know you broke it yesterday and today, definitely
Plastic.
Tuendelee. So I feel like most of these issues, okay, marriages are not working as much as they used to. But then again, marriages are working. Some marriages are working. It's just that nowadays we have options. In the past, people didn't have options. Like, kitambo it was, you are getting married, okay, my child is married, go. Nowadays, you're getting married, yes, ujafukuzwa kwenu. So when you go with that mentality, you are sure that, okay, I'm not going, I have an option. Nowadays, we have options, but it's life as it is. People have options. So a lot of things are happening that you find that, okay, cheating. Infidelity is #1 reason of divorce nowadays, right?
Actually, it doesn't make sense.
But it's been there.
It has been
It
there.
has not
But let me play a
but
devil's
right now,
advocate.
it's open.
Let me play the devil's advocate here. I might get crucified for this, but as a divorcee, as someone who has been in marriage and experienced it and all that, there's one thing you've said that is very, very important. Most men don't know how to handle an empowered woman. Most men don't know how to handle a woman that has a mind of her own. Most men don't know how to handle a woman that is independent, totally kabisa. Because, again, this goes back to childhood. They used to see their mother being there. Mama anafaa kufanya hivi, bibi anafaa kufanya hivi. I remember I had a conversation with my ex-husband at some point whereby he was like, no, as a wife, it is your job to be here before I get home. And I'm like, yo, huwena. It doesn't make sense. But you see, according to him, that's what a wife is supposed to. That's how, you know. And you find that it's very simple. You have to be secure first for you to be able to allow your missus to go out. So if you're not a secure man, and then you see your mama going out, and then you're there like, oh, guys, what, she's gonna get pregnant. Getting pregnant is a lot of work. I have been pregnant. It's not pretty. So it's crazy.
We actually don't enjoy
Then the
it.
other thing is, I feel like those men who are complaining, listen, my friends are husbands. I be seeing what husbands are doing there. So maybe they're seeing, we are nje, atafanya chenye mi wanafanya. So you see?
And that's what I'm saying.
And you know, nowadays men don't cheat with unmarried women. They prefer married women because we don't need complications.
Yes.
So they're assuming even you have a married man somewhere.
It is a family that cheats together, stays together.
But this is off camera.
I said I was playing a devil's advocate, Charles.
Off camera, see you, I was
Off
saying.
camera.
You know, off camera, I was saying, this thing has gotten so dicey. I completely hear what Conchita is saying.
Yeah.
And I said I'm liberal. I don't have a problem per se. But we talked off camera about structure.
Yeah.
And why did I refer to structure? Because I go to the village a lot. It's so funny. In the village, they've figured this marriage thing out effortlessly. Yani, these villagers, kwanza the ones who have even nothing.
But you know they can survive.
The one thing that they have.
Lakini kuna kwanga na wanasaidiana
The
jirani kwa
one
jirani.
thing-
Wao wanasaidiana.
The one thing they have,
They
the
help
one thing
each
they
other.
have is completely families.
But you know the problem is what? Now I can't tell my husband, okay, I'm going to be a wife, I'm sitting at home, you provide.
Can't. We have to provide
Maria.
as well.
Maria.
Actually, my husband is the first person to tell me when we were getting married, I don't need a housewife.
I have a worker of mine who worked in Thika for many years, and we were just having a conversation. He used to work for my dad many years ago. We work together now. So I asked him, we were just talking casually. Ooh, it was such an eye-opener for me. So I told him, he told me how when he thought of moving back home, like ameishi Thika, akifanya kibarua, so he ran it by his wife. So she just listened, the obedient wife. So he asked her, me, I'm thinking to rudi nyumbani. So I asked him, so what happened? So he told me, after he told his wife, after 2 weeks, one day he came from work and realized she wasn't even there. And now there's a phone, so he called her. And he asked her, Mama boy, uko wapi? She said, I'm in Kangundo.
Yeah.
Mi nimekuwa tu nijikipanga kwenda nyumbani. Actually, niko nyumbani. So he left Thika, like now in the weekend he came. He found her at home cooking. So I told him, this is a very interesting conversation, CEO. Because now me, I'm an educated, enlightened guy, Nairobi boy. I told him, do you know nowadays, me, how can I tell that time I had a girlfriend? How can I tell my girlfriend, we do this, and I don't get opposition? Usually they say, no, ukisema hivi, wanasema hivi, hapana.
Because we're empowered and liberated.
1 second. Musyoki told me, you see, boss, unajua watu wenye wamesoma, kila mtu ni mjuaji. Let me finish. He told me, things like marriage are the order of God. Me and my wife, we have never even fought. What are we fighting about? I'm the head, she's the neck. Let me just finish.
Yes.
I'm the head, she's the
You
neck.
see how we're rolling out, we're already tired.
Let me finish. No, you see,
Triggered.
you see, some of these things are just basic. Marriage did not begin in 1990. It did not begin in 2000.
Yeah.
These are
From
things that have been there
December.
for instance, when you get married in France, in Norway, in America, in Kenya, if Mwangi marries Yvonne, she becomes Mrs. Mwangi. There is no day the husband becomes Mr. Yvonne.
Yes.
Actually,
So what we are
that's
talking
where you're
about,
going
Michelle,
wrong
let me
because right
finish.
now it's happening.
Let me finish.
Benji.
Michelle,
Benji, right now people are taking the
Michelle
missus's
is
name.
Mrs. Obama.
That's a mad person
As
they're
tall
talking
as, let me finish. Let me just finish so that, you know, these are broadcasts, so many millions, even young people are watching.
Yeah.
So always with a broadcast, we try to use it in a manner that
It
utilizes the
empowers.
time well, because
But it
empowers
empowers people, yeah.
The funny thing is we're joking here and laughing, but there's someone who's
Always
just
listening.
literally following. They're just sitting somewhere in Umoja, wherever, you know, and just following and scrolling back and trying to get answers and to get explanations. Michelle, who's so tall, etc., she's just the wife of the president. It doesn't make her less of a woman, etc. And so sometimes that disorder, and what your former husband was saying is, it's not that I'm supporting it per se, but you know, sometimes, especially if it's a habit, you always come home, your wife is coming later, she's out drinking, etc. I think it's solvable. I think it's
Communication
solvable.
works.
Yes,
I
I think
believe
it's
so.
solvable.
Yeah,
If
but
you're- I think
what
it's
can
solvable
make you
What
because
can make
one
you
second,
be late?
because I don't want to sacrifice my marriage
Yeah.
on the altar of drinking, for
Yes,
instance.
yes.
So it's just like compromise. Like
Yeah.
my hubby really doesn't like this.
But you see, the thing is,
So
Benji,
I can do this once
And
a
do
month.
those hubby understand the things
Benji,
you
let me
don't
tell
like?
you. Let me tell you one
That's
thing.
what I'm saying, it's compromise.
The wives also need a break. It's not like every wife that goes out is going to cheat. You know, some they just being a wife is a lot of work. You know, you're there. You have to be ABCD and all that.
Like I
you have
said-
to be a wife.
like
you
I
have to
said,
be a
it's
mom
not
and
for
so many
everyone.
things.
It is not- yes.
exactly.
It's not for everyone.
But it doesn't
But-
mean when they go out, they're all going to cheat.
Yes, it's like I
They're
said,
just going to
it's
decompress.
not for everyone.
Yeah.
But within reason, there's nothing as valuable as family.
Yeah.
You know, just to
And
be
that's
there
what I
with your
wanted to come to
children.
as well, actually.
But by the way, even the Bible says, he
Yeah,
who
there's
finds
nothing.
Family first,
a
of
wife
course.
finds a good thing.
It is-
But if she finds a good man, then it will make sense.
You know,
Someone
But
who
not
can be
a
able to
sin.
understand.
But not a sin.
not a- but the
No, I wouldn't. No, I'm not married.
Listen, guys, I think what we are saying is that we agree family is good. It is
Yeah.
difficult to
Fundamentally.
deal with empowered women.
Very,
Yes.
very.
And we need to go to drawing board to know how to deal with this
Correct.
new creature,
Yes.
which has
We're
emerged
not new,
from
we
the
just-
shadow.
Yeah. A woman is educated,
Is
she's driving, she's
it's
earning.
different, and she's
you know,
earning
now
more
how
than
does
you.
she
She
even
has
come
a
under
thing
So
our
to
men,
together.
men
It's
have to
tricky.
go and ask themselves, how do you want to deal with them? But now my
Just
departing
love them,
point,
imagine.
Yeah.
the departing
them
We're
Point
yelled at for
is,
small things.
the departing
Squeeze your
point
naume
is
bana.
that
Eh.
the problem has been
I'm just kidding.
is cheating now. It's a big thing.
It's not
I'm
acceptable.
telling you, if a national psych can be caught by, if you are a woman and actually you live with this man and you get 6 kids, he's been educating,
But why do I feel like the man was also ignorant?
you're
Like, huyu dem
educating,
ako na
Maybe he
nguvu.
was
you
naive.
are doing anything,
Are they
you are
from the
doing
same
each
father
and
but different
everything
father?
for,
Don't know.
and for sure this woman knew. These are
She's
not
also
these
a very
men.
damaged woman.
Maybe the man
Yeah,
was
but then
absent.
for me, I'm looking at the kids.
No, there's
This
no
is
one
going
who's
to
absent.
damage
It
the
is not
kids.
that someone is
Exactly.
absent.
This is the
And their
first-
mother is
We
damaged
are
as
looking
well.
at the
Yeah.
And now the
fundamentals,
father.
is
It's a
that we are
traumatized
saying
parent, yeah.
the man might be absent and all that, but the fundamental is if you think you do not love this person to have kids with him, why don't you go and leave this absent husband then and live with that person who is giving you kids?
Security and status.
No.
Thank you.
No. That's security
Like I
and
said,
status.
money,
And that
finance.
money, this man has a chance to go and look for someone to give security and status. Because remember that, and you've gone to African funerals, like in a Luo funeral. Our Luo funerals are
It's a
very
mess.
diverse.
Yeah.
If this is not my son, he will not even try to bury me. It is there.
It was a complex.
We are complex.
I better get
You
somebody
cannot
involved in
try
the
and
marriage.
atuchukua mchanga hivi, the man will die.
Oh my God.
This-
Does it really happen?
It happens.
Hey,
even
but also-
even the mother of that kid will say, wewe,
Kakando.
siku ya- unatumwa.
No, you don't joke with it.
But-
Unatumwa, my
You don't
friend.
joke with
Unaambiwa
But
wewe.
traditionally,
That time you're told, Conchita,
Also,
now
Maria, you don't play around
go
with
and
traditions
do,
and all
you don't
that.
play with
but Charles,
traditions.
traditionally,
But traditions, who came up with the
traditionally,
tradition
the
of
men,
someone
no,
dying?
wait, first of all,
You made a
traditionally,
mistake, now die.
traditionally
Yeah,
what
it
used
can
to
haunt you
happen
for
is
generations.
the husband will be, walikuwa na ile kuallow wives to step out just in case kukirogana or something happens, they have one child. You know, that traditional used
Yeah,
to
there are many
happen.
of
that
those
is
things.
arranged.
But if you look at right now, modern, and I'm going to disagree with one thing, you've said that cheating is the main cause of this thing. I will tell you for a fact, finances is the cause root of
I agree.
of
Okay,
everything.
now you
Marriage
see,
is not one.
Finances,
now
yeah.
now you
It's
see why
finances.
I
I agree,
always
it's
say marriage is a
finances. She's
It's
right.
finance. It's
You
not
see-
cheating.
Conchita
See,
is
finances.
right.
Can I shock you now?
She's
it's
right.
not actually finances to
It's
some people.
finances.
Personally, finances
finances.
is
Go.
never been an issue.
If you go to marriage counseling and I have the data, 9 out of 10, the issues first
Finances.
is money.
Yeah.
They
Next.
come to money after they've already started, because you can communicate about
Girl,
money.
let me tell you, if you're married to a
It's money.
billionaire right now, Jeff Bezos goes and cheats, you will not care.
Uh-uh.
You'll just sit in the house heartbroken in your limousine crying. I'm like, oh my
Oh
god.
no.
Maybe you won't
I
even be
won't.
heartbroken.
You don't even be heartbroken.
Look at these guys.
This is the
As
problem
long
now.
as you got
Playing
your
a
money.
devil's
There-
advocate.
There is a problem. Only
Finances.
that you want to put finances in it. Because
No,
he
finances.
cheated, but he gives you
Yes,
money.
but you will
So,
use that
okay.
money to go to therapy and heal yourself. You understand that?
It has been hot in here.
Yes.
Hot.
Yes.
This is a great show.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's Let's Be Real
Let's be real.
every Sunday night.